everyone, Chris Wall here. I am your host. Welcome to the official Wingfeather Saga podcast. So glad to have you with us. This is a chance for me to bring you behind the scenes, walking the hallways in the making of this animated series. So getting to be inside of an animation studio, meet the people that make it happen, and hear about what brought them to this place. And then along the way, little tidbits of ways in which that series has come to life, choices made, that kind of thing. So thanks for joining us, and we are glad to have you. Today, our special guest is someone who jumped in and, like a lot of our folks, found themselves saying, hey, I can do this, but I could also do this. And what about this? And so I think you're going to enjoy our conversation. And welcome, Stephen. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Chris. My mom's so excited.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, she can't wait.
It's been entertaining as we've gone through this because the parents, right? Like my parents are like, my mom and dad listen to every episode. It's so great. Hey, mom and dad. Thanks for joining me. But yeah, it's good to have you. It's interesting because I remember in college and just after college, someone told me, hey, when you go to a movie, stay for the credits. Respect your industry. Right?
Oh,
like
all
the
time.
people on there matter. And I remember looking through names of credits and going, I wonder what the story is for that person doing that interesting task on this production. Who are they? It's a person, right?
Yeah.
And so what I love about this podcast is that we get to do that, right? That they've seen your name in the credits of season 3. And like, so who's Stephen? Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
This is me.
So what was your first job on the series? What were you first brought in for?
I was hired for season 3 as a PA.
As a PA, production assistant.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did random stuff. I think my magnum opus as a PA was creating what we call the MAL, or the Master Asset List, which is just a fancy spreadsheet, and it has everything we've ever made. That's an asset of sorts.
Okay, so you dreamed as a kid one day of making an Excel spreadsheet
that
would rule them all.
No, not at all.
And yet, the MAL's talked about a lot around here as like so critical.
It's so helpful now. I remember when I was making, I was like, are we even going to use this thing?
Yeah.
Yes, is the answer.
So master asset list, let's just kind of dive into that. Meaning, right now, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And some people are watching this on video. On video, it matters that I have a Books and Crannies mug in front of me as an asset. Yeah. You have a Creatures of Glipwood mug in front of you as an asset. There is 2 microphones as an asset. And if we want to repeat this, these assets have to be here.
Yeah.
Right? What clothes you're wearing, what clothes I'm wearing. And this shows up if it's not tracked properly. Season 3, I'm looking at you.
Right.
Nia shows up in a dress, and in the next shot, she's in a different dress.
Yep.
Yep. That happened a lot.
Those are assets. All right. And also like the room.
The room itself.
Asset too.
Sure, is an asset. Yeah. And so those get loaded in as we're doing every shot of the show. And if it's not documented properly, it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Or we get to the room where we need that asset and, all right, let's roll in that Model T. Who's got the Model T? Nobody? Was there a Model T? We're supposed to make a Model T?
Yeah.
And then it screeches to a halt because this wasn't created. That has happened a few times in our production.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully now our meeting launches for every episode are very helpful to make sure that it's always a small thing. Right? Obviously, nobody's forgetting Jana should be in the scene. But then it's like, oh, he's supposed to have a strawberry for some reason or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things. So now that we're doing the walkthroughs, it's great.
Cleaning it up. It's funny when you said your greatest contribution, I thought you were going to start with the regular taking out of trash because you kind of boss level on that one. That was what, we talked about it a lot. Like, man, Steven's jumping in. Like, he's keeping us tidy. Like, it's good PA work right there. I did not know that
you guys noticed that. Well, I really dropped the ball since now that I'm not a
Well, no, because there's other PAs.
Kind of like, other guys can do that, you know?
You
got to start from the bottom. It's a humbling experience. And then you get
especially here at our office where Outback is the nastiest trash dumpster ever made.
Yeah. Well, I will say that Bethany crushed it.
Oh, yeah.
Intern, she was
last intern.
taking out the trash.
New bar.
Yeah, way better than I ever was at taking out the trash.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so you decided to step into spreadsheet making in animation. What got you excited about getting into animation? What was the earliest thing that you said, "Oh man, I want to do that"?
Well, okay, so it's funny. I went to Lipscomb, like many other people who work here.
Many people.
It's, it's where you got to go, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's cool.
I went to be a graphic designer.
Hmm.
That was my initial thing.
Okay.
I can't do math, and growing up, my dad's an engineer, and I was like, I don't want to be a doctor, and I don't want to be an engineer. I guess I
Okay.
have to be an artist. Like that's the one option left. And so I was doing design because that's basically marketing, you know. And I thought it'd be really cool to make movie posters because I was
Okay.
in high school. I had a friend who was huge like film buff, and I started getting into that with him. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And then my freshman year roommate was an animation major. I was like, I didn't even know you could get a degree in this, and I can make the movie instead of just the poster. Sign me up. And so freshman year, I was still a design major. And I took maybe one animation class.
Okay.
And then I formally switched over completely my junior year. So sophomore year, I was kind of like a dual enrolled, and then I switched over all the way to animation my junior year.
Okay, so do you have? So that's interesting to me. So computer animation is such an interesting collab, right? Of engineering and art. So do you have some of that from your dad? That like you have a bit of that, or not at all? I mean, not the
really.
math side, but
no, it's one of those things, you know, especially in CG animation. People are like, "Oh, so you're a computer person?" No, I built a computer when I was a kid.
Okay.
I could not tell you actually like functionally what RAM means or does. You know,
sure.
I know I put one in my computer though.
I was told to put this here.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like a fancy Lego at that point.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, the engineering side, that part not inherited down to me.
Okay, no, that's interesting. Okay, so but the artistic side did. Why computer animation then versus 2D? I mean, obviously, you know, those are different lines. But...
Yeah. It's because I was better at it.
Oh, okay.
I was initially very drawn to. I was like, oh, I like drawing. I'm not amazing at it.
Okay.
You know, and so it's one of those things. But the CG for some people, they have a hard time wrapping around. Like if you're working on 3 planes, right? X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
For me, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand what I'm doing. And so that was kind of there. And it also helped that our CG department at the time was really small. And so the main CG professor was like, you should stick with this one. I was like, all right. So that was the track I went in.
Okay.
And that's where my roommate also was. So that it was helpful that we could help each other out. And all of that.
Yeah. And we keep saying the word CG.
Yes.
Computer graphics.
Yeah.
Right. It's this weird lump of a name. But describing anything that's made inside the computer as a 3-dimensional object, right? That can be handled, right? Is that a fair description?
Yeah. I like to tell people CG is to think of Pixar movie. That's all CG. Traditional like 90s Disney animation, that 2D. So that's sort of usually people are like, oh, okay. Toy Story, that CG. Lion King, 2D.
Yeah. And so it's interesting in our show because, of course, we have a blend of CG and 2D and when to call something CG and when to call something 2D. So do you and Garrett or Daniel have a like a tug of war about whether you get to make it as a CG asset or whether it becomes a 2D asset? Like who wins?
It primarily comes down to location. That's like our background is where most of that happened. Did a few 2D effect stuff. We don't do a lot of simulation in our show, which means like water splashing. We'll always like give that to
2D stuff,
2D effects. Sets are interesting. Our main reasoning behind it. I really like the way our background painters paint our show. So like, I'm always on board for that, and it's also less work for my team. So you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's what kind of camera shots are we doing in here, and how often are we coming back here?
Sure.
And so if we're doing a sequence for like the camera's constantly moving, think season 3, the Flume ride.
Yep.
That would have been such a pain to ever do 2D background. Camera's constantly moving, things are moving, trying to get things to interact. Doesn't work. But in scenes where you have a lot of static cameras and you can really like make something beautiful that way, like then we'll go.
Okay, so where are you in? I have the mug right here. Books and Crannies, season 1. Should we have stayed with a 2D set or should we have done it CG? Because we spent a lot of time there, but it's a ton of detail.
I think it worked at a 2D set.
Okay.
It didn't bump me
At
at
the
all.
time, we were like, "Oof, we should have made a set out of this," because
Sure,
we were
I
shooting into
believe
so
that.
much. And
But I will say the Fork Factory dining hall should have been a set.
oh yeah, 100%. Because
That
we've come back to it quite a bit.
well, constantly,
It's a-
and
well,
when I was a PA, I would like help Eric at the time.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
would go through and be, oh, what can we reuse? And there's always like this one is so close, but we can't quite use it, and so we have to make
Yeah.
a new background painting for the camera that is like slightly
over
to the
here.
left.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we don't know the story locations and all the things all the way to the end of our story yet, right? Like that's because the writing team and we're working on that way out here. We don't know every prop, every location that we're really going to use, and
Yes.
increasingly we have the option to say, actually, hold on, let's go back to that location. We could stage this here because we have that location. Let's not reinvent it, right? And but yeah, Fork Factory was one that I don't think we knew how much we were going to use that dining room at the time. It's interesting. Yeah, it's a tough, back and forth, right?
Right.
Of
You don't know
where
what
the
you
story
don't know.
wants to be, where it needs to be, where we can emotionally. I remember the scene with Sarah and the sharpener, in season 2, and that was. We talked about a couple places where it could be staged, and then somebody said, "Could it just be in the dining thing under a table there?" Yeah, we can make that. That feels like a space that they can have a private conversation, and if it's at a certain time of day, whatever. Tell me about your job now. So obviously you started as PA, now you're running the CG department.
Yeah.
Tell me about what that job entails in kind of day to day.
Yeah. So my title is CG coordinator, and so that's managing and overseeing the creation of all CG assets.
Okay.
And making sure that we have them. And so I work closely with our design coordinator, Daniel, because he's, he'll watch the animatic, call it out, we have everything needs to have a design before my department can start on it, my team. So I work very closely with him on that, and then I also work very closely with our layout coordinator, also Daniel, for, is this ready to go into layout? And so that's sort of...
And so layout, just for everybody that doesn't know, layout is where we're in the computer, we're setting the scene up, and it's kind of like if you had a camera and you were going to build a little Lego set. Do you have all the pieces of your Legos that you need to drop in for that to be complete? Right. You see it in the animatic, which is just drawings or kind of like a blueprint. I told somebody the other day that our animatics are kind of like the instructions for a Lego set. But they're not the Lego set. Layout is when it becomes a Lego set, right? We're actually putting the pieces in there.
Right, exactly.
And we get to see it. And if we go, hey, I need a whatever piece, and where's that piece missing, right? Then it's a pause. Or can we replace it with something?
Right. Yeah. So on a day-to-day, I'm making sure Daniel will send me a message to be like, hey, I'm going to hand out this layout sequence. Make sure we have everything for it. And I'll go through and hopefully I say, you're good to go. Or I'll say, wait 1 week, I need to make something. We need to make, whatever it is. Usually, again, those very small things that, a thorn. So that's a big part of my day. And then really the part that I like the most is just the interaction I have with my team, with my artists, where I like to advocate for them and champion them. And I always make it my mission in our all team meetings when it's my turn to give, hey, where's CG at? I always try to call out one of my artists in particular and say, this person did a great job in whatever it is, texturing, modeling, sculpting, whatever. So those are kind of the 2 main things that a coordinator I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love that you said that just now because I think it's one of the most interesting thing about having a screening, right, with your crew is because if you sit in the position of the person who is working on the show in a particular way, they're looking on screen for, oh, there's that prop I made, right?
Yeah.
And the character just used it in a really interesting way, right? Or there's this background painting that I made, and there it is featured. Oh, they really made soft focus on that. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Right. I love that you think about that because I think it's important here that we really want to, as a company, and we've really worked from the beginning on this, is to recognize individual contributions and that this is made by real people, right? Yeah. And sometimes those teams are really large, and so it can get a little overwhelming to think about all the people. But it is the
Well,
work animation.
it's just hard. You get a lot of notes, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it can be demoralizing for somebody. They only get note after note after note. And you're like, tell me something nice, please.
Yeah.
And I've worked with people previously who have told me, they're like, I wish so-and-so would just say, like, hey, good job on this last thing,
Dude.
before they tell me the next thing that they need.
So I have a heck of a time with that as an EP, because it comes to the EP to review, right?
Sure.
Is that my job in that moment is to tell you what I don't like.
Yeah.
Or what I don't, right?
Sure.
And it's very difficult because I'm watching to get, am I missing anything? Because it feels to me like I'm taking a test, right?
Okay.
And I don't want to fail the test.
Right.
Right? To flag something that's really important for people to have down the line, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like studying it really carefully. And it's unfortunately not often enough, I'll get to the end of that and realize I didn't say a good thing about it. Right? So like our composer, Ben, will submit, hey, here's this new section I've scored, listen through it. And I'll be in there like, no, I want to go this way with it. This is going a little happier. I want to go a little more thoughtful, whatever. I'll be steering it. And at the end of it, realize I didn't compliment about anything that, like it's hard because I would fail the test if I just said, I love it all.
Right.
Then I've just not paid attention potentially.
Well,
right?
that's the joy of my position, is that my opinion doesn't mean anything. Right? And I just mean, like, Garrett's the one who approves the final text
Sure.
on something.
So you can add a boy all day long.
Right. And it doesn't.
Well, but do you feel bad though? So this is another thing though.
Okay.
What if someone like delivers you, oh yeah, great job on that, and looks great, thank you. Send it along, come back. Yeah, he hated it. It was terrible. Like, I mean, like, is there like tension there?
I will say, I've never, very rarely, I'll say, have I ever seen something been like, this is definitely going to get kicked back, like a ton of notes.
Okay.
There have been things where, oh, this is going to get notes, but it's not like, this sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
So that's it there. And, if it is something where I can pre-tell, like, I know Garrett's going to say something about this,
Sure.
I might say, hey, you should probably tweak this before you send it. Because normally they'll DM me, like,
sure.
This is what I made. And then sometimes I'll say, hey, maybe tweak that before you send it.
Fair. Yeah. Because objectively there could be, this isn't, missed the design that was built. You didn't get this element of it or something, or technically it's got jaggies, it's not rendered properly or whatever, so
it's normally those sort of things. Like for me, hard surface modeling is one of the areas I feel most confident at. And so when we've had junior people modeling things, I can say that's not quite on style.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Let's
distinguish that for people. So in CG, hard surface versus soft, maybe a couple examples of that in the show.
Yeah, okay, so this table, hard surface, cupped even. And all of that.
Okay.
Even a microphone, in spite of the foam part being soft, I would still kind of call that hard surface modeling.
Okay.
Soft surface is anything really squishy, pliable. You and I would be soft.
Okay. So pretty much costuming then would probably be all soft?
Yeah. And really it comes down to, are you modeling it or are you sculpting it?
Whoa. What is that? What's the difference?
Sure. So sculpting is, think of it like clay.
Okay.
Right. So if you use ZBrush or Blender, is kind of the two main ones that you would use.
Okay.
A lot of the tools even come after clay sculpting naming conventions.
Yeah.
And you're just shaping it and pushing it, and that's sculpting.
Okay.
That's what we do for all of our characters, all of our costumes. Modeling is, in some ways, it's less artistic and more technical, which is involving starting with a basic shape, usually like a cube, and you extrude. So, I don't know, how do I describe that?
No, that's right. You push and pull it.
Right.
But mechanically?
More mechanically. It's more linearly, I guess.
So, in my brain, I grew up playing with Erector set.
Okay.
Which was metal at the time. I think the newer ones are all plastic. Metal with metal nuts and bolts. So I would build something out of Erector set and could construct it, or Lego, where I'm using hard things to make a thing, right? Versus sculpting, so that'd be modeling. Sculpting would be more literally using clay or a soft material to to create something.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison to Lego to clay. Sometimes you could even say maybe like woodworking. It's kind of like modeling, right? There are ways you can soften
Using a
it, but you're
harder
gonna
material.
harder
Okay.
material that is gonna have harder edges,
Uh-huh.
that sort of thing.
Yep.
Whenever we've done softer things, and when you model softer things, it's totally possible, and I've done it. It just you rely more on tooling and
Okay.
plugins that the software has, as opposed to I feel like sculpting really relies on you just being a really talented artist.
Sure. And I think your wood analogy is right. Like for wood, I might use a router on the edge of this table to get a shape I want.
Yeah.
It's got to be a very mechanical blade to create a shape versus a soft tool. That's interesting. Yeah. So then you decide what is going to go through a sculpting round or a modeling round to create that piece.
Which it's normally pretty easy. For the most part, props are always soft or hard. And so I have it set up. After design, it gets sent to one of two areas in like our spreadsheet, basically, where it's like, is it going to the prop section or the sculpting section?
Yep.
And so then it's easy to see.
Yep. Okay, so today, here we are. What sort of things are you working on in the studio today? If we were to walk out here and see what you're working on, what are you into?
Right now I'm actually modeling, hard surface modeling, the Houndrick.
Okay, but hold on. You told me you were a coordinator. So
I am a coordinator.
What is happening here?
So coordinating is great. It's a grand old time. It is, for my specific department, I would not say it's a 40-hour position.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
My artists are really, really talented,
Mm-hmm.
which is helpful because I just like send them an assignment and I don't think about it or worry about it till it comes back.
Okay.
So at the beginning of my day, I kind of check in, make sure everybody's got what they need, all of that, and then I just take care of things that are helpful. So a lot of times that's prop modeling, which has been the thing I've done the most on season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a solid 95% of our props have been modeled by me so far. It's
Wow.
cheaper because you guys already pay me.
Yeah,
So we
you're
don't have
already
to pay
here.
somebody else
Yeah,
to do it.
Sure.
So I do that. So right now I'm doing the Houndricks that show up in
Cool.
season 4.
Those are awesome.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Excited to see that in action.
Yeah.
I'll texture stuff, which is fun. Painterly,
Uh-huh.
good times, and then I animate the rig and stuff.
But okay, hold on. And that one there.
Yeah.
So to your point, this is one of the things I love about our people is that most everybody on our staff is multidisciplinary, meaning we hire for one thing, but they can do this thing and that thing and that thing, and it extends their time with us, right? Because if it's just this one little thing, when that part's done, see ya, right? Yep. Which is a bummer. And in season 3, you were coordinating, kind of driving things, and then you said, "Hey, Jennifer, I've got some free cycles. How could I contribute?" And you raised your hand and said, "Could I animate?" And which is then the question is, I don't know, can you animate? Right? And is it's an interesting question on our side. Is like, is it worth the effort to set you up to be able to animate? Like there's quite a bit of software and kind of work to get that to function.
Sure.
If we find out that you can't animate,
Yeah,
right? It's like, oh, well, we tried, but they did, and this happened for some time before I knew it was happening. And you sit not far from me, so I walk out, and I don't like the screen peek. I have a problem with that, but so I don't pay a lot of attention to that. But eventually, it came to my attention. Hey, do you know that Steven's been animating, and he's actually like generating a lot of footage? And I was like, what? Yeah. So what was that? That's awesome. I just think it's delightful. But what was the journey of, because you animated quite a bit on season 3?
Oh, it was so much fun. That's the part I enjoyed the most.
Okay.
Because it's like you're acting, and it's fun because you get to be characters you could never be if you were a live action actor. I'm a 20-something white guy. That's all I can play.
Yeah.
But when I get to animate, I can play a Timber, Jurgen, Leeli, Podo, all people all people I would never normally act as. And so it's so much fun. I love doing it. And so I came in at a PA, and I had a goal. I said, I want to animate something.
Okay.
That is my number one goal on the show. And I honestly happened to it, and I thought, because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to angle my way in here.
Yeah.
And then we were in a production meeting, and Bo was like, we're behind on animation for season 3. Anybody got any ideas? And I was like, throwing it out there. And so then, and it was great. I already use Unreal a lot to help coordinate stuff.
Okay.
I find it helpful if I can just do things and check in on things myself
Sure.
instead of having to constantly ask other people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've got everything I need. If it sucks, you guys didn't really lose anything,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than, I guess, my time.
Yeah.
But, and so, yeah, that's how that started.
That's
And
so
it was
fun.
so much fun.
What was your favorite scene that ended up in the final?
I really like, for a couple reasons, the shots. A lot of the stuff in episode 4 was really fun to animate.
Yeah.
It's cool
So
action
much
battle
happening.
scenes.
Yeah.
There's one, it's right before they hit the dam.
Okay.
That makes everything explode. And there's a guy, and he is getting, like, decimated. And he's, like, blocking the spear, and then he realizes what's about to happen. And he's kind of like, oh, you're cooked. And that was really fun to animate because the storyboard didn't show a ton.
Yep.
And so it left a lot to their imagination, which is exciting. And I was able to have, like, the thing, like, bite at him, which is cool. And then when we went and recorded the Waller footage, I was able to be that guy.
Be that guy,
which made it even more fun. Where I was
Incredible.
like, you know, so much is happening, like the music and sound effects. You can't really hear me, but I know I'm there deep down.
Does your mom know you're there?
I'm pretty sure. I think I told her. Yeah.
One of the scenes that I loved watching you set up for was Janner tossing a ball to himself in episode 6, season finale, as he's starting to talk to Kalmar about the backstory. Yeah. And I walked in the lobby one day, I think after lunch or whatever, and you're laying on the front couch thing with a ball. I was like, you good?
Yeah. Right. I love shooting weapons. It's so fun. And so, yeah, I had to ask Chris Blaha, I was like, do you have a volleyball in your car? Because we didn't have that. Yeah. And I love doing that. One of my other favorite scenes I got to animate is in 305, the dragging a pirate. And so I went out into our office area and I was like, hey, I need a volunteer. And Josiah was like, I'll do it. And so now there's somewhere in Slack is a video of me dragging Josiah on the ground because the footage was of a pirate dragging like another unconscious pirate.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
And so that's so much fun. But yeah. Love shooting that reference.
That's one of my favorites of animators is all the reference stuff. So we're deep into season 4. Episode 1 is, I think, 80%, maybe more animated now.
Yeah.
And so you're currently probably working episode 4 or 5, or
yeah, 4 right now.
Okay. And then are you looking at season 5 assets?
I'm watching it. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm aware of it. I just had a meeting today where we were talking about rigging of some creatures that are in season 5 that is going to be interesting. And so we want to try to get ahead of the problem.
Yeah.
Because we're fast paced around here, and that means on our rigging department, the rigging to animation pipeline, we don't have as much time to test things if we want.
Sure.
And so with the weird stuff that's coming in season 5, we're like, how do we prep for that?
Need to test that, make sure they're moving properly. Yeah, good call. Is there a part, now that you've been in the process now, seeing a whole season of television get delivered, have a sense of, okay, I see how this works, right? From storyboard to the finished product. Is there a part of this process of animation production that you feel like doesn't get as much, highlighting in the industry, that you think, man, I think people need to know more about this?
I think texturing, underrated. Which a lot of CG stuff in particular relies so much more on shaders, which is, you're not necessarily putting down paint strokes, right? You're applying something that happens more globally in a sense.
Okay. Yep.
Which is cool. It looks great. Love it. And it is coming back, but like having that hand painted look is what brings everything together. And it's been really fun watching Aurora really step up in texturing for season 4.
Oh yeah,
she's been crushing it.
So the difference would be, so a shader, you're wearing this lovely jacket. A shader would be the fabric itself, right?
Yes.
Whereas texturing would imply any wear or folding or just interesting characteristics about how it behaves while you're wearing it, right? And I agree, because just straight shading sometimes can make it feel a little cold, a little computer, right?
It just, you don't get that richness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's not as much intentionality because it's like even the fabric itself could be textured in a way where like parts of the jacket become darker or lighter and stuff like that. It just adds this depth to it that shaders can struggle to provide, and then it relies more on lighting to make it feel
so
really
we're
good.
heavy texture on our show.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see a shader used that isn't
texture. And when we are using more shaders in season 4 than I think we've ever used before. They look cool because, you know, Garrett and Ellie have been the people making it, Ellie on the technical side. It's like, how do we make it feel even more like that brush stroke? And it's super cool to see that coming to life, but I'm still a sucker for when we put the actual paint stroke down. And you see that, and like these dogs in season 4, they look so cute. They're amazing. And so,
well, it's interesting because I think the audience at the end of the day couldn't tell you what it is that makes them like something. It's just appealing. And we talk about this a lot. It's like this really wonderful way to draw attention to whether someone's modeled something or sculpted something right or textured it or, you know, shaded it. Is it appealing, right? I think fundamentally our job of entertainment is, can we make something that's appealing, right? And that applies to all facets, and what's it going to take to get it there? So, yeah, it's great. Well, I'm so glad to have you as part of the show. You're bringing a ton of value, and so grateful for your generous spirit of, hey, I can jump in here, I can help here, and that sort of thing. And you're such an encouragement to the crew as well. So thanks for joining me today. Glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining me today and my special guest. To watch the series, of course, check out wingfeathersaga.com and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, at Wingfeather Saga. Make sure to check out the program wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. This has been a Shining Isle production produced by Jaron Weatherly, edited by Davis Coggin, executive produced by myself, Brock Starnes, and Andrew Peterson.